Olympic gold medalist Team Canada is back in action this week as they prepare for the World Cup qualifiers coming up in Mexico next month. And to check in on the team, the evolution of a couple players, we've reached John Molinaro to talk through. Canada's match against Korea, their only preparation match before the World Cup qualifiers. Now, if you're Bev Priestman, are you experimenting with your lineup or are you sticking with the starting 11?
No, I'm sticking with my starting 11. I think, the CONCACAF Championship next month is incredibly important because, as you alluded to, it serves as the qualifiers for the World Cup. But it's doubly important because it also offers an automatic qualification to the winner for the Paris Olympics. And just sort of speaking to Bev the last couple times over the last few weeks, you get a sense that, she views this as an opportunity to really solidify her starting 11, not just this game against South Korea, but, assuming that they do qualify for the World Cup, that she's going to use sort of this next year to really sort of hone in on these sort of, the core players who are going to serve as the starters in Australia and New Zealand for the World Cup. So I don't expect there to be sort of major changes. There might be, one or a few tweaks, some players called up for the first time getting some action in South Korea.
Okay, one of the question marks around the team, and maybe not a question mark, but there was the retirement of top goaltender Stephanie Labbé. So in terms of keepers, who is your number one keeper? Is it Kailen Sheridan's job to lose at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I mean, this has been a long time in coming for Kailen. She's had to really be sort of patient and bide her time because, for so long she was the number 2 under Stephanie Labbé. And, we thought that she had finally broken through as the starter, last year at the She Believes Cup tournament in Orlando, but then she got injured in that first game against the US, and that paved the way for Labbé to sort of take the number 1 job back. And then obviously she led Canada to glory, in Tokyo. But I think with Labbé out of the picture, and of course, Erin McLeod isn't with the national team now for this game and isn't expected to be in the team for the qualifiers next month. And this is Kailen Sheridan's job to lose. She's been there the longest. She's the most experienced of the core of goalkeepers in the camp, between her and Sabrina D'Angelo. You get the sense that she really appreciates that this is her time, that this is her moment, and she's really prepared to seize it and make the most of it.
Okay, let's talk about another young player on the roster, and it's hard to believe Jessie Fleming is approaching 100 caps with the team, right? She'll get that against Korea on Sunday. Can you talk a little bit about her evolution as a player and what she means to this Canadian side?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think over the last 2 years, we've really seen the very best of Jessie Fleming. I think for so long, we saw that potential in her, that sort of, dynamic, creative midfielder who could really sort of orchestrate and direct traffic. But there was always a sense that there was more to come from her. And I think, the fact that she turned pro, and has spent the last 2 years at Chelsea, and we've just seen her development go through the roof. Playing in the pro ranks, obviously, is a lot different than, when she was playing, NCAA soccer at UCLA. But I think, obviously playing, at Chelsea, one of the biggest clubs in the world, getting regular first team minutes in the English league, getting that UEFA Champions League experience, I think there's more of a maturity and a poise to her game now. And she's, you talk about important players for Canada. I mean, she's vitally important. She is that sort of key, cog in midfield who, serves as that quintessential link between, the front line and the back. And really sort of linking things effectively. And such a dynamic player, with her distribution of the ball. And, I think you can see that her play has grown in confidence. She's really sort of involved in the thick of things compared to earlier in her career where I think there was a bit of timidity to her game, that there was, some reluctance to get involved. And now, I mean, as I said, she's really involved in the thick of things. So I think her time at Chelsea has really sort of helped her development, exponentially.
Okay, let's talk Christine Sinclair. We know she is Sinclair. She is the GOAT. Playing more of a supporting forward role these days. So my question is, who is the all-out number 1 striker, or the all-out sort of number 9, if you will, striker for Canada?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there. I mean, you look at someone like Adriana Leon or even Janine Becky, but for me, I'm expecting big things from Nichelle Prince. I spoke to her at the start of the NWSL season, and she said that, she set a goal for herself of really wanting to become one of the top goal scorers in the league this year. And it was interesting. She admitted that, in the past, she's kind of shied away from that, taking on that sort of responsibility and saying that out loud to herself because, she said if she failed, then, she'd feel like a failure. But, this time around, she told me that she's really sort of embraced that of wanting to have that confidence to say, yeah, I want to be among the best players in this league and become a prolific goal scorer.
John, thanks for this and look forward to covering the World Cup qualifiers with you coming up.
Thanks, Signa. Good to talk to you again.